This is KVUE News Daybreak.
Multiple cases of alleged sexual assault within Austin schools. AISD police now reopening several cases. I'll tell you why.
A race to avoid a government shutdown, a bill blocked overnight to prevent that from happening. What's expected today that could keep the government running?
And this morning, we are hearing from the wife of the man who police say ran off with one of his students. The first conversation she had with her husband after his arrest. Wish I could have been in the room for that one. Good Friday morning to you, and thank you for joining us for KVUE News Daybreak at 6 a.m. I'm Brian Maines.
And I'm Yvonne Nava. Yes, everyone's here on this Friday morning. The gang's together. But before we check in with David Reyes and a look at the roads, because you've got that, right?
I sure do.
Let's check in with Erica Lopez. Rain is on the way this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend's going to end up to be quite stormy. Today, quite warm outside. This morning, temperatures are warm and muggy as you head out the door. And lots of temperatures in the 70s that did not even cool down into the 60s overnight. Humid for your morning rush hour this afternoon. Very warm. We're talking temperatures in the lower 90s, but feel like temperatures in the upper 90s. That's the heat index value that we're keeping an eye on. Here's your forecasted high temperatures. 95 in Mason, 91 in Austin, 90s across the region. When you factor in humidity with this is what I'm talking about. Our feel like temperatures outside this afternoon, 97 degrees in Austin. This weekend's going to end up to be quite stormy Saturday night into Sunday morning. Saturday during the day, it's actually going to be quite okay, just warm. It's Saturday night where we're tracking some strong storms. I'll break down hour by hour what you guys can expect in the full forecast. First, let's take a look at the roads this morning with David Reyes.
Good Friday morning to you. This is a live text view at Mopac northbound at Enfield Road. Construction is starting to wrap up in this area, so that is good news for you. Green light for most of the Austin metro area. No major accidents or incidents to report. Now, if you're driving in from Cedar Park, 183 southbound 45 to Mopac, 7 minutes, 10 minutes from 45 to I-35. Guys, back to you.
David, thank you. This morning, AISD police are looking into multiple cases of alleged sexual assault. They're renewing their investigations after calls from concerned parents. KVUE's Corey Coffin joins us live from the newsroom this morning with more. Corey?
Well, good morning to you, Brian. KVUE sat down with the parents of one of those alleged victims. Her father is a police officer himself, her mother a school teacher. They say AISD police closed their investigation too soon after their daughter said a fellow student assaulted her in the bathroom of Lanier High School in March 2015.
What they failed to see is that we had a victim. We have a victim, and that victim needs assistance. And they shut it down based off of their preliminary efforts to go forth with any action whatsoever. We're looking at a system that we have told our children to constantly have faithful trust in, and the system failed us.
And this has prompted AISD police to review 2 other cases as well. The first from Hart Elementary in 2014. A boy accused of a school staff member of assaulting him in a bathroom. Police say, though, that the school video doesn't show them in the bathroom at the same time. Now, the second one is a case of a 4-year-old girl at Boone Elementary. Her parents say she was assaulted in February there, and her parents demanded that the school police reopen the case, saying that they closed the case before reviewing all of the evidence.
Horrifying, because it's every parent's, worst nightmare to think of something like that happening, especially because it's been going on so much lately.
AISD originally did close that case because the 4-year-old didn't provide any information when interviewed. But during a meeting with parents last night, they acknowledged a lapse in the case. The girl had medical records from Dell Children's Hospital indicating signs of sexual assault. AISD police closed that case before getting those records, but they do say that investigators reviewed the records. The DA's office is now involved in reviewing all of these cases and will keep updated on any developments. Live in the newsroom, I'm Corey Coffin. Back to you.
Corey, thank you. Senate Bill 7, or the Pass the Trash bill, would make it harder for teachers who have relationships with students to switch school districts. It's supposed to make moving predators from one district to another a felony. It would also create a database to track those teachers. The bill currently awaiting a public hearing in the State House.
Well, 6:04 is your time. New overnight, a SWAT standoff in Cedar Park ended with one man in handcuffs. It started around 7 last night. SWAT teams were called out to the Muir Lake apartments on Avery Ranch Boulevard near US 183 and Lakeline Boulevard. Officials say a man with a weapon barricaded himself inside one of the apartments after family members called authorities because they were concerned about his safety. After several hours of negotiations, police got the man to come out. Officials have not yet said if he will face any charges. Austin police are asking for your help finding a missing 81-year-old woman. Here she is, Sarah Neal Gray, last seen yesterday around 1 near Burnett Road in Anderson Lane. Officials say they're worried about her because of her medical issues. She has gray hair, blue eyes, was last seen wearing a black blouse, pants and shoes. Gray is believed to be driving a tan Buick that looks like this with Texas license plate BW5T10. Please call police if you happen to spot her.
Tension between the United States and North Korea not simmering down anytime soon. President Donald Trump says a major conflict with the North Korean regime is possible in the standoff over its nuclear and missile programs. But he prefers a more diplomatic outcome. ABC's Stephanie Ramos explains how our nation's leader is continuing to tackle even more issues as his 100th day in office is tomorrow.
President Trump says things may get ugly with North Korea, but he'd rather it not.
There's a chance that we could end up having a major conflict with North Korea. Absolutely.
The president tells Reuters in an Oval Office interview he's making the North Korean nuclear threat a top priority. But with messages like these,
North Korea is a problem.
The relationship with the North Korean regime is only intensifying. President Trump also taking some time to reminisce on his life before president as he nears his 100th day in office.
I loved my previous life. I had so many things going. I actually, this is more work than in my previous life. I thought it would be easier.
What's proven to be difficult? His ongoing negotiations with congressional Republicans and Democrats on a spending bill to keep the government open, differing over health care.
I think we're making very good progress.
Republicans say they would push a short-term spending bill through the House today with only GOP votes. That would keep the government open past the midnight deadline tonight. Democrats say the ball is in the GOP court.
The minute they cast that vote, they put doo-doo on their shoe, tattoo on their forehead. At some point, they're going to have to explain it to their children. What did they do to make America sick again?
A House GOP leader says there will be no vote on any major health care legislation until at least next week. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Washington.
Well, President Trump has agreed to speak at the National Rifle Association's upcoming convention in Atlanta. The NRA endorsed Trump for president last May. While campaigning, he frequently talked about supporting the right to carry and against gun-free zones. He'll be the first president to address NRA leadership since Ronald Reagan. The Pentagon is now investigating Trump's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn. They're looking into whether he accepted payments from a foreign government without seeking prior approval. In February, he disclosed that he had earned $500,000 from a Dutch firm with ties to Turkey's government.
State lawmakers have taken a final vote on a controversial bill aimed to ban so-called sanctuary cities.
There being 94 ayes and 53 nays, SB 4 is finally passed.
After 2 days of emotional testimony, the Texas House of Representatives took the final vote yesterday morning, approving Senate Bill 4. It requires all law enforcement to honor ICE detainers. ICE detainers are requests from the federal government to hold someone while their immigration status is investigated. The controversial amendment allows officers to ask someone about their immigration status if they're detained instead of only when they're arrested. Opponents are calling it the Show Me Your Papers Amendment. The bill also heads to the conference now, where members of the House and Senate will hash out other differences before sending the bill to Governor Greg Abbott.
All new this morning, the wife of the Tennessee teacher accused of kidnapping his 15-year-old student is describing her first phone call with her husband after he was arrested. Jill Cummins told Inside Edition that when her husband Tad called her from a California jail, he confirmed her worst fear. He admitted that he slept with the teen as they evaded police for more than a month.
It was very hard to hear his voice after all this time. Not knowing if I was ever going to hear it again. But he told me he was sorry and that he told me he loved me and please forgive him.
Cummins says that she's not going to rekindle their relationship. He's facing a minimum sentence of 10 years in prison. As for the 15-year-old victim, she's spending time with her family and a trauma team.
Toyota recalling about 250,000 small pickup trucks because the rear wheels have the potential to lock up, causing drivers to lose control. The recall covers certain Tacoma trucks from 2016 to 2017. Toyota says oil leak, an oil can leak from the rear differential that could damage components and cause the differential to lock up and stop the wheels from moving. The company would not say if the problem has caused any crashes or injuries at this point, but owners will be notified of the recall by mail beginning in mid-June. It is time now to get a check of our forecast for this Friday with Erica Lopez. Hi again, Erica.
Good morning, guys. Busy forecast indeed in terms of hot temperatures today and stormy conditions tomorrow. Temperatures right now in the 70s throughout the majority of the viewing area, and dew points are on the sticky side. The hill country remain the coolest, but still in the 60s overnight, upper 60s right now, lower 70s for the central counties and eastern counties. Bastrop, you're at 72. Luling, same thing for you, as well as LaGrange. Here's a look at just how much warmer we are today than yesterday. A 23-degree warm-up for Georgetown this morning from where we were yesterday morning. It's toasty out there. Not to mention this afternoon, you factor in the humidity with temperatures, it's going to feel like we're close to 100 degrees this afternoon. That's right. 97-degree feel-like temperatures. That's the heat index value this afternoon. Strong storms this weekend. I'm going to break down what we can expect hour by hour in the full forecast, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that. Guys, back to you.
We sure will. Okay, thank you. Tomorrow is National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. It gives people an opportunity to safely destroy expired, unused, or unwanted medication. During the April 2016 drug take-back, the DEA reported collecting around 447 tons of unwanted medicines. Nearly 40 tons came from collection sites in Texas alone. To check out the locations where you can drop off your medications, just head to our website, KVUE.com. Well, still ahead this morning, a growing problem worrying veterinarians across the country.
Why pet owners are hurting their cats and dogs and what they're trying to get their hands on.
And United Airlines doing major damage control, how they're avoiding a lawsuit after a man was dragged from one of their planes. Also, we're on Facebook Live if you'd like to join us behind the scenes for a little action there.
Come hang out with us. Welcome back. 6:14 now, and all new this morning, Arkansas has executed its 4th prisoner in just over a week. Kenneth Williams expressed regret for killing 2 people before his death. The executions come as that state's working to put several prisoners to death before their supply of the drug used in lethal injections expires, which will happen in just a few days. It's not known how Arkansas will carry out future executions after the end of this month. Before last week, Arkansas had not had an execution since 2005.
A new study shows that exercising while pregnant can help reduce complications for obese women. Doctors from the Cleveland Clinic say women with obesity have a higher risk of developing high blood pressure during pregnancy, as well as diabetes, and they are more likely to suffer premature birth or miscarriage. And doctors say many women are afraid to start exercising while pregnant, but unless you suffer from high blood pressure or other conditions, it's not only safe, but recommended.
It's a growing problem that's just heartbreaking, really. People purposely injuring their pets so they can steal their pets' prescriptions. People are doing this. Experts aren't sure how often it's happening since there hasn't been any official study done. But veterinarians say they've had to be more vigilant over the last few years. A woman cut her dog with a double-edged razor blade to get her hands on painkillers.
Different razors, they were clean, but I threw them away afterwards. She would get taken away.
When I first found out that the cat had diabetes and that we had to use insulin syringes, a green light popped in my head. Well, there you go. You don't have to go out and try and find them anymore.
Now, this man has taken advantage of the family's cat. Veterinarians saying they're worried this will become a bigger problem since there's no system in place to really prevent it from happening. That's when people go from vet shopping. They go from vet to vet to get prescriptions for their animals.
And it's amazing everyone survived this crash you're about to see. This is in Mobile, Alabama. Watch the white Jeep to the right of your screen. I'm taking a look there. It's racing another car, trying to get in front of them. Oh my, when you see that crash. The Jeep rolls over at least 5 times. And if you take a closer look, the Jeep's driver actually gets thrown from the vehicle, but he gets right back up and just walks off the ramp. No one was seriously hurt in the crash. Wow, that's some video there. So glad no one was hurt. Now, as far as the weather, we have some changes, and tomorrow's going to be a day where you don't want to wash your car, right?
That's right. Probably the best day to wash your car will be Sunday once we get through some storms tomorrow night. So we are tracking a very, very warm to the end to the work week. Temperatures in the 90s, but feel like temperatures in the upper 90s because it's going to be so humid. But again, Saturday night storms, Sunday cool down. It's going to be so nice for Sunday. Live look outside downtown. Temperatures in the 70s. It was a very, very warm start for our entire viewing area. We didn't cool down to the 60s for the most part, and dew points still remain in the mid to upper 60s. So here's what we're tracking for the next 12 hours. Mostly cloudy start to our day. Then by this afternoon, plenty of sunshine, calling it a partly cloudy day, but that's going to allow our temperatures to be in the 90s, close to 90 if you don't quite get there. But just because you don't get there temperature-wise, the reading on your thermometer doesn't mean it's not going to feel like we're in the 90s. It's actually going to feel like we're in the mid to upper 90s because it's so humid outside. Our heat index value for this afternoon in Austin, 97 degrees. It's going to be toasty out there. Make sure you're staying cool and hydrated. Hour by hour, this is what we're tracking for the weekend. Now, this is the storm part of the forecast. An area of low pressure will develop a cold front that's going to swing through our viewing area. Timing, what we're talking about, is anywhere from 7 p.m. entering into our viewing area. That cold front's going to slide to the south and the east. Austin, you could have some midnight storms in your region that could turn strong to severe, and that's going to push out of our viewing area by early Sunday morning. So that's the good news. We should have a cooler, drier, and more comfortable forecast Sunday. Lots of sunshine in store for the end of the work week, but there is an enhanced risk for some severe weather for the eastern counties, and our biggest threat is actually going to be strong winds. Damaging hail is something that will be our main concern. You can't rule out an isolated tornado, and I think flooding will be very low category because of how fast this system is going to move. Mold is forecasted to be in the medium category, or high category, excuse me. Pecan and grass low. Check out your latest counts every single day in the Statesman. Here's the next 7 days. Partly cloudy today, but it's going to be a hot one. Tomorrow, slightly cooler. Afternoon, overnight storms, and a gorgeous Sunday forecast is in store. Let's take a look at the roads right now with Anna V. Reyes.
Thank you. Good morning. This is a live look at Mopac northbound at Barton Skyway. The road is open and clear. Pretty nice this morning. 183 southbound, 45 to Mopac, 7-minute drive, 11 minutes, 45 to I-35. Now, if you're driving on Loop 360 southbound, 183 to Pennybacker Bridge, a 6-minute commute, 9 minutes, Pennybacker Bridge to Mopac. I'm going to talk about some nightly closures happening this weekend in a little bit. Guys, back to you.
Hang on just a second.
Yeah.
We were doing a Facebook
Yeah,
Live.
and it fell. I'm sorry.
It fell, so
It fell.
I'm sorry to all of you people there on that. I dropped it. A man is in a desperate situation, crediting Apple Watch for saving his life.
And as ABC's Candace Gibson and Dan Maceda report, streaming services are actually changing the way music is made.
In today's Tech Bites, a college student credits his Apple Watch with helping to save his life.
Casey Bennett was in a crash, hanging upside down and couldn't reach his phone. But he knew that by pressing the watch's side button for 6 seconds, it would dial 911.
It also alerted his emergency contacts. Apple says it's just glad he's okay.
Yeah, it called his dad for him. Nintendo has announced its new handheld gaming system. It's called the 2DS XL.
So Nintendo is touting its 2 large displays, new controllers, and a small light size. It hit stores in late July. Price tag, $150.
And streaming services are changing more than how we listen to music.
That's right. New research shows songs and musical intros are getting shorter because fast forwarding and skipping is easy with services like Pandora and Spotify.
And get this, in the 80s, instrumental intros ran for an average of 20 seconds. Today, just 5.
Those are your Tech Bites.
Fun in art class. Come close, come close.
When your pain reliever stops working, your whole day stops.
Try this.
For minor arthritis pain, only Aleve can stop pain for up to 12 straight hours with just 1 pill.
Thank you.
You can't quit. Neither should your pain reliever. Stay all day strong with 12-hour Aleve. Check this Sunday's paper for extra savings on products from Aleve.
When you open an avocado from Mexico, you open a Cinco de Mayo party, so you can celebrate any time or place.
Avocados from Mexico.
Aunt Gertrude would have loved this.
Avocados from Mexico.
Well, your school bell forecast is a warm one. We're talking temperatures in the 90s, but heat index values in the mid to upper 90s. Here's a look at your temperatures as you head out the door. It's going to be muggy. 70s is what we're calling it. This afternoon, lunchtime plans will already be in the 80s, but it's this afternoon. Again, our forecasted highs here for the Austin metro area, lower 90s. It's going to feel like upper 80s. Keep in mind, the UV index is going to be 8, so that is very high. Make sure you're protecting yourself from the sun. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks so much. San Marcos police need your help finding a woman who was accused of attacking another woman at a club last month. Police are looking for this woman on your screen right here to the left. The incident happened back on March 30th at the Mark Club. Officers say she threw another woman to the ground and hit her head against the concrete several times. She's described as a white or Hispanic woman. As you can see, she's wearing glasses, dark shorts, and a Spurs jersey in this photo. A Florida teen is in big trouble this morning for a social media post that he says was just a prank. He's accused of posting an ad featuring 2 black students with the bold headline that reads, "Two slaves for sale, $470. School officials say they're aware of the student who made the post and that he's facing disciplinary action. One student who was featured in the ad says she was shocked.
A little disappointed because I didn't realize that racism is still in our schools still to this day. I don't wish that upon anyone, and I felt like really discouraged that people are still like that today.
The Craigslist ad was removed immediately after it was reported. The student who posted the ad has been given a 10-day out-of-school suspension. AT&T has unveiled what it calls 5G evolution in Austin, but those claims may not be all it's cracked up to be. Well, we're going to verify their new claims. And reports of a drug-resistant superbug fungus spreading across the United States, and it's deadly. We're going to tell you who's at risk. If you're eating your breakfast, sorry.
This is KVUE News Daybreak.
Welcome back. 6:30 is your time. Another beautiful view of our city. We've got some joggers this morning.
People out getting their jog on, getting ready for the weekend. Look at there's a nice little trio of gentlemen as they head towards town. Thank you for being with us. At 6:30, you are watching Daybreak. Yvonne's here, I'm here, pretty much everybody's here. Anavid's got her eyes on the roads, but Erica begins now with a look at our forecast. Hello, Erica.
Hello, good morning. Well, definitely a warm and sticky morning if you're going out for a jog. Live look outside. Temperatures in the 70s already. Check out the dew points, though. It is steamy out there. Dew points in the mid to upper 60s. That's going to be the case all day long. Mostly cloudy start to our day, ending up to a partly cloudy afternoon. But check out the temperatures. 90 degrees in the lower 90s for the majority of the viewing areas are forecasted high this afternoon. But you factor in the humid conditions with the warm temperatures. Here's what it's going to feel like outside. This is our forecasted heat index feel like temperature. 97 this afternoon for the Austin metro area. 97 in San Marcos, but it's definitely going to feel like 90s across the entire viewing area. So what we're tracking for this weekend, I'm going to dig a little deeper in the full forecast on the strong storms that are expected this weekend. A cold front sweeping through our area. That's going to push through late Saturday night into Sunday. I'll let you know who is under what type of severe weather concern coming up later this morning. Let's take a look at the roads this morning with Anavid Reyes.
Good morning, Erica. This is a live look at your Austin Metro map. You can see that we are giving you the green light this morning. No major incidents to talk about, which is a thumbs up for a Friday morning. Let's go ahead and go towards I-35 in the Buda area. We are talking about some closures. This will affect your night traveling this weekend on the I-35 overpass at Slaughter Creek. So watch out for that this weekend. Guys, back to you.
Anavid, thank you. There is a last-minute scramble on Capitol Hill this morning to avert a government shutdown by tonight's deadline. Senate Democrats have blocked a quick vote on a short-term spending bill to keep the government running for another week while they would try to hammer out a deal. The House votes on the extension today, and the Senate may still vote ahead of the deadline. President Donald Trump saying there's absolutely a chance the United States and North Korea could end up in a, quote, major conflict, end quote. His comments follow multiple North Korean missile tests, which have escalated tension between the rogue Asian nation and its neighbors, as well as the United States. The president says, quote, we'd love to solve things diplomatically, but it's very difficult, end quote.
And now that President Trump has laid out his tax plan, well, many are asking, what about the deficit? The plan promises tax cuts for the middle class and a major cut for corporations from 35 to 15%, they say. Estimates show his massive tax cuts could balloon the deficit by trillions of dollars.
Anything about paying for the tax plan? Any more specifics there?
Growth. You see the growth. The growth is going to pay for it.
And how soon is that growth going to happen?
Happen quickly.
Well, the single-page outline revealed yesterday is short on specifics, and the president says he will provide more details on the plan very, very soon.
6:33 now. Parents of a Bowie High School student are suing the Austin Independent School District to get a student expelled from school because they say that student is harassing their daughter. Our partners over at the Statesman reporting a lawsuit filed yesterday by the girl's parents. An unnamed male student attempted to commit suicide at the school in January in front of their daughter. Additionally, this student has repeatedly gotten into her car without permission, demanded she take him out to dinner, and hugged her on more than one occasion while she said no. In addition to expelling the male student, the lawsuit also asks a judge to order the school district to adopt an anti-bullying, anti-harassment program. District officials have not yet commented on the lawsuit. An alternative. Go ahead, Yvonne. Sorry, I was going to read your story.
No problem.
I need to shut up.
I'll take it from here. Grab a break, grab some water or something. An alternative to the Boy Scouts is growing in popularity. Trail Life USA is similar to the Scouts. A big difference, the Boy Scouts accept gay and transgender members and leaders. Trail Life USA does not. It got started in 2013 when the Boy Scouts decided to open up to gay members. Since then, it's grown to more than 20,000 members across the country. And there are several troops here in Central Texas. The group says it's a Christian organization.
May experience same-sex attraction. The place we draw the line is a biblical truth. We draw the line at open and avowed.
Even though Trail Life is growing, it's still much smaller than the Boy Scouts, which has 2.3 million members. Boy Scouts locally have seen a drop in membership of less than 2,000 members since 2012. A new warning from the CDC this morning over concern on a deadly superbug, which they say is a global health threat. Hospitals are reporting growing cases of the drug-resistant infection. Officials reporting 61 cases in hospitals in 6 states since 2013. Most patients in New York and New Jersey. Doctors say the rare strain of yeast is resistant to all 3 major antifungal medications. 60% of people infected around the world have died.
When you have an organism that is spread person to person, causes severe infections, and can develop resistance, now that's a real concerning type of infection.
Well, hospital patients, especially those in intensive care, are most vulnerable. The fungus can survive for weeks on hospital beds and for months on the skin. Doctors say this bug is difficult to detect.
Police in India have arrested the alleged organizer behind an IRS phone scam that has impacted millions of Americans. They arrested the 24-year-old suspect about 2 weeks ago. His alleged scam had IRS collectors threatening people with jail time if they didn't pay taxes they didn't even owe. Authorities say he's made millions of dollars from this scam.
We're working harder than ever for the privilege to serve you. I promise that we will learn from our failures.
That's United Airlines CEO apologizing for the infamous incident seen around the world on one of his planes. Less than 3 weeks ago, a passenger dragged off the plane after he refused to give up his seat due to an overcrowded issue, an overbooking issue. The airlines agreed on a settlement. They are paying that passenger money. No one, though, knows exactly how much. United also working to change the policy for both passengers. Well, I guess the airline and the passenger know how much, but they're not making it public. The company is saying they will start cutting back on overbooking and will now offer $10,000 to those who give up their seat voluntarily, up to $10 grand. United's also pledged to never again summon law enforcement to forcibly remove a paying customer, except for in security incidences.
6:37 is your time. Former First Lady Michelle Obama talking about her future plans while in Orlando. During a Q&A session, she said she has no interest in running for public office, saying she doesn't want to have to put her daughters through another campaign. She's planning to keep working with the Let Girls Learn initiative, which she started during her time as First Lady.
Sports news, big night for 32 college football players, or former players now. Both Texas teams looking to get better in the NFL draft last night. With the 12th pick, the Texans traded up to take a quarterback. Deshaun Watson is a good quarterback from Clemson. Of course, he led the Tigers to the national championship back in January. He's excited to call Houston his new hometown. Cowboys took a defensive player, which was a good idea. Defensive end Taco Charlton was the 28th pick overall. He's from Michigan. He was not at the draft, celebrated in his hometown of Pickerton, Ohio with his family. Cowboys need help rushing the passer, and Charlton could be just the guy they've been looking for. I think he's a pretty good pick. I hope so, at least. Erica was a good pick when we picked her to be our morning meteorologist, wasn't she?
But she needs a name like, since he's Taco, maybe it could be Chalupa Lopez.
Ooh, I like Chalupa. I like that name.
Nacho Lopez.
Let's see what our viewers think about that. Let's take a look at your current temperatures right now. It is pretty sticky and warm out there. Across the hill country, that's the coolest spot, but cool is in the upper 60s, so not even that cool. Central counties right now in the lower 70s. That's the same case for the eastern counties. Lower 70s, Lockhart at 69 degrees. Here's how your Friday is going to play out. Mostly cloudy start to a partly cloudy afternoon, but check out your temperatures. Near 90, but I think a lot of us are going to be in the 90s, including feel-like temperatures in the upper 90s. This is your heat index value forecast. 97-degree feel-like temperatures in Austin. Stay cool, stay hydrated out there. It's going to be a warm one. Storms on the way. I'm going to chat about that in the forecast, but for now, Brian, back to you.
A tank top day today. Thanks, Erica. We're starting a new effort at KVUE to verify the accuracy of some stories you may have seen on your social media feeds. This morning, we're looking into a new claim from AT&T. The cellular giant unveiled what it calls 5G evolution in Austin on Tuesday, but hundreds of people on the internet, they disagree, saying it's not 5G at all. Our sources to verify the claims are AT&T's own releases on the matter and the Third Generation Partnership Project, or 3GPP, in Statements and Standards. They are the group responsible for defining 3G, 4G, and 5G. AT&T tells us they could not comment on the issued directly, but in a release earlier this year, John Donovan, who's the company's chief strategy officer, said, quote, "We're not waiting until the final standards are set." What he's acknowledging is that currently there are no actual standards defining 5G. The group who defines that 3GPP group, they haven't done so just yet. Now, since new standards aren't out, about the only thing that's clear is that 5G can't come from old technology. In AT&T's own release, the carrier acknowledges that while it makes things faster, it does that just by upgrading 4G technology. AT&T's own Vice President Tom Keithley said, quote, "When it comes down to it, claims of a 5G deployment are a little more than marketing ploys. They're hyping up a technology that won't be available or deployed widely until 2020 and beyond." To recap, since AT&T's system uses existing 4G technology, we can verify this morning the claim of 5G service in Austin. It's false. Officials say student-teacher relationships are at an all-time high here in Texas. Inappropriate relationships, they're now calling it at an alarming rate. We'll break down the numbers for you and what officials are doing to try and stop it.
Good morning, and coming up on GMA, Donald Trump's new warning about North Korea, saying we could have a major conflict. This comes as the president approaches his 100th day in office, revealing how difficult the job has been up to this point. We're covering every angle leading up to that landmark 100 days, and that is right here, only on GMA.
Welcome back, everyone. 6:44 is your time. Here are some of today's top stories.
This morning, AISD police responding to multiple sexual assault investigations after calls from concerned parents. This prompted by an alleged incident in February at Boone Elementary School. The parents of a 4-year-old girl say AISD police didn't review their daughter's medical records before closing that case. Investigators are also reviewing how cases from 2014 and 2015 were handled.
President Trump plans to sign an executive order today that could lead to the expansion of drilling in the Arctic and Atlantic Oceans. It's called the America First Energy Executive Order. It's part of the administration's push to expand offshore drilling to reduce dependence on foreign oil and to create jobs. Environmental activists say offshore drilling harms whales and other wildlife.
A last-minute scramble on Capitol Hill today to avert a government shutdown by tonight's deadline. Senate Democrats have blocked a quick vote on a short-term spending bill to keep the government running for another week while they try to hammer out a finalized deal. The House votes on the extension today. The Senate may still vote ahead of the deadline.
It's not a black thing! It's been a black thing for the last 300 years!
Well, this week marks the 25th anniversary of the LA riots. It was one of the deadliest riots in U.S. history. 50 people were killed. Tonight, here on KVUE, award-winning director John Ridley and his documentary, Let It Fall, takes us through the scenes that played out. We're going to hear the personal stories of those directly involved and the lessons learned during those dark days.
They were neither serving us or protecting us.
It happened before. And very unfortunately, if we don't find the capacity to see ourselves and others, it could happen again.
The riots were sparked after the acquittal of 4 police officers charged with assault and excessive force against Rodney King. That documentary airs right here on KVUE again tonight at 8 p.m.
An East Texas kindergarten teacher in jail today accused of having sex with 4 high school students on multiple occasions. Investigators say 38-year-old Heather Robertson, who taught in the Hudson Independent School District just outside of Lufkin, communicated with the boys on Snapchat. She joins hundreds of other teachers accused of preying on teens. Right now, the number of investigations into inappropriate student-teacher relationships, the highest it's ever been. The Texas Education Agency reports it investigated 123 cases statewide of inappropriate relationships between students and educators in the 2008-2009 school year, 123 that year. In 2015-2016, it jumped to 222, and this year to date, there have been 159 cases. Now, these cases all go to the Director of Educator Investigations for the TEA.
You'll see it across the board, from West Texas to East Texas to large schools and small schools, some really small schools. Nobody's immune from this.
Need to recheck.
Now, Stephanie Stovey is a 4th grade teacher. She's won Secondary Teacher of the Year award and has a 100% pass rate for the STAR tests. She works hard to help her students succeed, so when she hears about these bad cases, she gets furious.
Most of us are like, why? Why go into education? Why go into a profession who's supposed to better a child, to make their life richer, and then do something which hurts them?
Now, everyone from lawmakers to teacher organizations like the Association for Texas Professional Educators, all working to put an end to this trend. The ATPE offers training for future teachers on how to prevent these types of situations. And the TEA is now providing training in the Austin area so that teachers can spot and stop these interactions before they go too far.
Well, 6:48 is your time. One group of girls proving that strength isn't defined by your size or gender, but how you compete on the track. They're part of the Texas Junior Roller Derby team here in Austin. 18-year-old Miyakota Early, also known as Captain Sassy, has been part of the team for nearly 10 years. That's my nickname, Captain Sassy. Captain. She says the girls are taught how to fall and to get hit, and while some think the contact sport may be too aggressive, well, Captain Sassy says it uplifts them.
Growing up, I was always really quiet and like kind of to myself, but being in roller derby has kind of brought out more of like me.
Well, the group says roller derby allows them to express themselves and be competitive and athletic. To learn more about the league, find this story on KVUE.com. You know, if one of us here in the morning were to be on a roller derby team, it would be definitely Erica. For
you think
sure.
So? I was hoping you were going to say me. I think I'd look good in those shorts.
Okay. Girls team.
Oh,
right.
girls team. Oh,
okay, so we have Captain Sassy. I'm Chalupa, Taco. What's it gonna be? Think of.
I don't know. We got to come up with our names.
Here's your forecast for this morning. It's sticky and muggy outside, including warm temperatures in the lower 70s. Dew points in the mid to upper 60s out there. That's going to be the case all day long. Heat index values is going to be something we talk about in this forecast because feel like temperatures are going to be very warm this afternoon. Here's where we are right now. Coolest spot across the hill country. Llano at 61 degrees for your dew points. Hour by hour forecast. Mostly cloudy start to a partly cloudy afternoon. Check out your 90-degree daytime high temperatures. Yes, the entire viewing area will be in the lower 90s, but when you factor in the temperatures with humidity, feel like temperatures are going to feel close to 100 degrees, 97-degree feel-like temperatures in the Austin metro area. Today is going to be very, very warm and uncomfortable. Make sure you're staying cool and hydrated outdoors all day long. Here's a look at our severe weather threat. This is Saturday night, so I'm fast forwarding a little bit to our weekend forecast because there are some storms headed our way. Northeastern counties in an enhanced risk, a slight risk for the majority of the rest of the viewing area. It's all due to an area of low pressure with a cold front that's going to push through our viewing area. We're talking late Saturday night. Time frame entering into our viewing area by about 7 a.m. for the hill country. That's going to slide to the south and the east. As it does, we're talking about midnight, strong to possibly severe storms in the Austin and central counties. Then eastern counties will get the best bet later on that evening. After that cold front pushes through, check out your Sunday. Clear north winds, that's a drier wind, and also some cooler temperatures. Daytime highs in the 70s. I think Sunday is going to end up to be so nice outside. Wind and hail is going to be our greatest threat. Flooding, not much of a concern at all because of how fast that system is going to move past by us. And then tornadoes, a very low threat. We're talking low wind shear, which is change of winds with height. So we're not seeing too much rotation in the atmosphere for that to be the setup for tornadoes. So that's some good news. Mold is expected to be in the high category, pecan and grass in the low category. Check out your latest counts every single day in the statesman. Here's how the next 7 days are going to play out. Once we get through a warm Friday, stormy Saturday night, I think it's going to be a great end to the weekend and start to the work week. Anavid has the latest on some accidents that are beginning to come into play this morning.
That's right. Thank you, Erica. This is an accident we are watching. This is on Ben White Boulevard traveling eastbound over on Riverside Drive. So this may cause some delays for you as you're trying to use 183. We will get more information on this accident as it becomes available. Let's travel south towards the Buda area. There is a closure that we want to let you know about. This will affect your night commute this weekend. This is happening on the I-35 on Slaughter Creek overpass. They're working on reconstructing the bridge over there. So make sure you look out for that as you hit the roads. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks so much. 6:52 is your time. We're going to have more weather, traffic, and news right after the break.
right, more sports. Is it my lucky day or what? The draft and now some NBA. The Spurs advanced to round 2 last night. They finally got that win in Memphis. How about Kawhi Leonard? He had 29. The old man Tony Parker had 27. I remember when he was a rookie. They beat Memphis 103-96 in Memphis last night, their first road win in Memphis this entire season. Spurs now face those Houston Rockets. What's that, the I-10 showdown? That game 1 is on Monday at 8:30 at the AT&T Center in San Antonio. Why do they have to do it so late? Couldn't they start at 4 so I could watch?
They should rename it the I-10 Showdown. I like that.
The I-10
By the way,
Showdown.
we're chatting with you. We're also chatting with people on Facebook Live, and they've been asking about this. And we're going to tell you next week is going to be a very fun week for us as we debut a new series right here on KVUE News Daybreak at 6 a.m.
It's called Take This Job Week. We asked you a few weeks ago to come up with some jobs that you like that we might not be very good at, but we could try. And well, it turned into a really fun idea. Kenneth Knowles has the first one. He asked us out to Cedar Rock Railroad at the Williamson County Regional Park.
Yeah, we got to do it all from the pre-ride checks to actually driving the train. Thankfully, we were able to keep the train on the tracks.
So go, stop, really stop.
Right.
Okay.
Or apply sand.
Okay.
And you're good.
Okay.
Take care of everything else.
Think you can handle it?
I think you can handle
Yeah?
that. I think she can handle that.
Just like playing Frogger or Pac-Man.
If she drives like she drives her car. All right, hear more of that, our stories all next week right here at 6 a.m. on KVUE News Daybreak.
I cannot wait. Well, here's your forecast. A very warm day today. Heat in Nix Valley, so it's going to feel like we're in the upper 90s today, but daytime high temperatures lower 90s. Strong storms late Saturday night into Sunday. Stay weather aware. We'll be on top of it here at KVUE.
All right, another update with weather and traffic and news in 25 minutes.
That's right. Stay with us and hope you have a wonderful Friday and a really great weekend. We'll see you next week.